Okay, here's a side view of Megan Langenfeld. She won the MVP for the College World Series in 2010. She played for UCLA. She's a fantastic player, great hitter, and here's a waist-high pitch that she hit for a home run during the World Series. She's probably a pretty good person to model your swing after. And we're going to use her and her side view to compare your swings to. So let's just go through our checklist. First we want to see back knee to pitcher and then the belly button to pitcher. So she's fully rotated her body, and those are both a check. Is her front leg straight at impact? Yes, it is. Is her back elbow bent? Yes, it is. She's up on her back toes right there. She is palm up, palm down. It's a little blurry, but you can see she is not rolling her wrists over. She is palm up, palm down at impact. And another thing at impact is the elbow is above the hands and the hands are above the barrel. So you've got this downward tilt to the bat. The bat is not flat at impact. There's a downward tilt to it. So she's in a perfect position there as well. And the last thing is, are her eyes on the ball? And they most definitely are. Her eyes are looking right down at that ball. So here's a checklist of using Megan Langenfeld. Okay, Gianna, here we go. I know you're going back to some linear things, but I'm just going to analyze you just like I did Megan Langenfeld, and then we can work on whatever we need to. So let's start with back knee to pitcher, okay? No matter what, we want to use our big muscles and rotate our hips. So let's see you at impact position, and you never really get your back knee to face the pitcher. It's more facing out that way. So you want to work on rotating your hips a little more. Is your front leg straight at impact? And you can see that it's still bent right there. And let's see, is your back elbow bent? Yeah, if you go linear, you're going to be pushing your arms towards the ball, so maybe that doesn't matter too much. Are you up on your back toes? No, your front foot's still kind of flat on the ground, or your back foot is still kind of flat on the ground right there. And let's see, are you palm up, palm down? Watch this. You can see you're rolling your hands right there, right before contact. We don't want to do that. The pitcher can see the back of your batting glove right there. So you're rolling your hands before contact. We want to remember palm up, palm down. Even if you're going linear, you want to be palm up, palm down. And eyes on the ball. Yep, you do a good job of that. You're looking right at the ball at contact. So there's a few things, and we'll pick and choose what we need to work on there. Okay, now we're going to use our elite softball player, Megan Langenfeld, and she's going to show us how to get our body connected and how to rotate properly. So first off, here's right after her stride. You can see she's up on her front toe. She's at toe touch. And now she's going to drop her heel to heel drop, and that's going to start the rotation. So what I'm going to do here is draw a line on that side of her head, on that side of her head, and a line right through her body right there. And you can see she doesn't lunge. She doesn't move towards the pitcher. Once she starts to rotate, she keeps everything still and just rotates her body right around that stationary axis right there. Let's watch that again. Head still, body still, everything rotates. Okay, so that's a proper way to rotate. Let's take a look at, as she's rotating, Ike to Mikey, okay? So here she is, her front shoulder's touching her chin. There's Ike. She rotates all the way to Mikey right there as well, okay? Another thing I want you to look at her front shoulder. Her front shoulder does not stop rotating until she hits the ball. It rotate, it keeps rotating all the way till she hits the ball. Let's look at another thing. Let's see, look at how her hands are about shoulder height when she starts, or about as high as the highest strike. Now we want to keep the bat nice and close to our back shoulder. As you can see, she does a great job of doing that, keeping the bat close to her back shoulder as she rotates. And the last thing we're going to look at is right at impact, we know that her back elbow is bent, okay? Now, after impact, everything extends. And now we're going to call this the power V, and you can see that our power V is up, just like that. So now we're going to use all these checkpoints and see how you guys look as well. Alright, so for our next part here, we're going to draw some lines, and we're going to look at connection and rotation. And again, some of this may be different because of the linear thing, but I'll just analyze it like I did in Megan Langenfeld anyways. So right about here is where you start to rotate, right? So we still don't want to lunge at the ball or anything. So let's just see here if you stay pretty still, and whoops, yeah, you stay pretty still there. So you're not lunging at the ball, which is good. But here's an interesting thing. Because your front leg is bending at contact, watch your head drop down as you swing, right? So if you worked on staying taller and your front leg being straight at contact, your head wouldn't dip down like that. So that was one thing. Ikey Mikey shoulders, yeah, you're at Ikey there, and then you're just extending your hands, and then you finish at Mikey right about there. Let's see, your back elbow getting connected. It gets connected right there, but then you can see right about there, you stop rotating, and then your hands just move this way. You can see that your front shoulder doesn't rotate anymore, and your hands just move right towards the ball, but that's going linear. So, okay, so that's good there. You don't want to let your bat get too far from your back shoulder, and you do a pretty good job of that. So that stays nice and close. That's good. And let's see. Oh, your power V is pointed more down than it is out. So you'll see in the next thing something we can do to work on fixing that. So okay, so there's an analyzation of the rotation and also getting connected. Okay, now we're going to look at some of the keys to making good solid contact with the ball and hitting hard line drives as opposed to infield pop-ups. And what that entails is getting the bat on the plane of the pitch. So we're going to look at a lot of different things here. First off, what I'm going to do is plot Megan Langenfeld's hand path, okay? And I drew a yellow line right even with her logo on her shirt, her UCLA logo, okay? So I'm just going to plot her front hand here with a red line, and we're going to see what that front hand does as she rotates around. Okay, so it stays there. There it goes. You can see that her hands never drop below the yellow line. And her hand path is kind of this shallow U. And the barrel of the bat is going to follow what your hand path does. So you can see that's her hand path right there. It never drops below that yellow line. And what that's going to differ and what you're going to see from some of the girls is a lot of them have a straight down hand path where the hands go straight down like this. And that's what we're going to fix, and then that's going to lead to more consistent contact. The next thing we're going to look at is the path of her front elbow. So right here she's going to begin to rotate, so I'm going to plot that same red line on her front elbow. The way she's able to keep her hands above that yellow line is her elbow rotates up on the same plane as the bat, okay? So the elbow rotates up. That's another important thing there. And the next thing is we're going to plot the barrel of the bat and the pitch, okay? So give me a second here to get this set up. Here comes the pitch, okay? So I'm going to plot the pitch with a green line. And there's the ball right there, and here's the ball right here. So the pitch is coming in right here. Right, like, right about there. Okay. Now I'm going to use a red line, and we're going to plot the barrel of her bat. Okay. So right there, she's starting to get her barrel on the plane of the pitch, and her barrel is right there. Let's see. Let's plot it again. Barrel's right there. Right there. So you can see, because of her hand path not dropping below the yellow line, the barrel of her bat is on plane of the pitch for a long time. That means if she's a little bit early or a little bit late, she can still make good contact with the ball because the barrel of the bat is on plane with the pitch. So now we're going to use these examples and see how you guys look. Okay, now we're going to look at hand path and getting your bat on the plane of the pitch. No matter how you swing, rotational or linear, you want your bat on the plane of the pitch as much as possible to increase your odds of hitting it hard. So I'm going to plot your hand path here. And so we drew a line right at your letters, just like we did on Megan Langenfeld. And we're going to watch your hand path. And you're doing that, you come straight down at the ball, like that. And then your hand path looks like that. So your hands are dropping below the yellow line. So that's going to lead to a bat path that isn't on plane with the ball as much. You're kind of swinging down at the ball. So let's take a look at how your front elbow rotates, okay? So if your front elbow rotates up, then the bat will stay on plane and your hands will stay above the line a little better. Whoops. And you can see your front elbow just rotates flat like that. So even if you're going linear, we're going to want to keep your hands above that yellow line. Okay? Now we're going to plot the plane of the ball coming in and your bat plane. Okay? So let's see. We'll plot the ball in green right here, there, and there. So the ball's coming in about this plane, okay? So that's the plane we want our bat on as long as possible. And so now let's plot the meat of your bat as it comes around, okay? So let's see, right about there we'll start. So right about there, there. So you can see because your hands take that path, your bat isn't on plane that much, and then you're just gonna almost kind of get lucky when you hit the ball, and a lot of times you'll hit pop-ups because if you look right here, really the only two spots your bat's on plane with the pitch are right there and right there. Okay, so there's a waist-high pitch, and next we're going to look at a higher pitch, and you're going to kind of see the same thing. So we need to work on your hand path. Okay, just remember that at practice. Okay, Gianna, I already drew some lines on this one. The ball's coming in on the plane of the green line. Here's just a different pitch, but it was just in the right spot for you. And you're going to see your bat is on the plane of the red line. It's much more on plane with the pitch, and the result is a nice line drive like that. Okay? So that's the importance of trying to get your bat on the plane of the pitch and keep it there as long as possible. And I'm going to show you one more. Okay, here's one more for a high pitch, okay? And you're going to see that, okay, now the plane of the ball, the ball's coming in on the green line. Your bat, meat of your bat is along the red line, right? So you're off the plane of the pitch there. And then now you're coming up onto the plane of the pitch. But because your margin of error is so slim, you can see you hit the top of the ball, and that's just going to be a kind of easy ground ball right there. So ideally, we want to keep the lead arm and the bat on the plane of the pitch. And then you're going to be on the you'll hit more line drives. You won't pop up as much or hit ground balls. So you can kind of see how it's off the plane, then it comes on the plane just to meet the contact with the ball. So there's a kind of a waist high pitch, kind of a medium height pitch, and then also a high pitch. And you can see how important it is to get your bat on plane with the pitch.